If you're collecting unemployment insurance benefits, you must be ready to accept suitable work while you collect benefits. While we encourage you to negotiate for fair and equitable compensation, it is important that you know the requirements and how they can impact your unemployment insurance eligibility before declining an offer. Please visit labor.ny.gov/UI/work-search.SHTM and consult your claimant handbook for more information. New York State recognizes the inequality that is rooted in the gender wage gap. To help ensure that everyone receives equal pay for equal work, we've assembled this salary negotiation guide. Salary negotiation is an essential part of most job interview processes. This guide will give you some suggestions for successfully negotiating a fair salary, regardless of your gender. A successful salary negotiation can improve your financial future. Your salary at your next job will most likely be based on your current or previous salary. If you were underpaid in the past, there's a good chance you'll be underpaid in the future, unless you negotiate. Thinking about this ripple effect may help you see how important a successful salary negotiation can be. Additionally, you should be fairly compensated for the market value of the work you do. Employers expect you to negotiate. They expect you will stand up for yourself and put your needs on the table. Not only will you be showing an interest in the position, but you will also move your needs and job satisfaction to the forefront. Negotiations will be a part of your future, whether you're now building your career or already established in one. By negotiating, you're establishing a long-term relationship between you and a potential employer, which will be beneficial to you. Before you negotiate, do some research. A simple Google search will reveal salary trends for the position and for similar positions in your region. Research a company's location, size, and length of time in the business. Find out what people are saying online and what the company pays their employees. Think of your market rate, level of experience, qualifications, and the unique value you bring when considering what you're worth. These are all important ingredients in providing a realistic range to an employer. A realistic salary range is based on what the industry in that area pays for the position being filled. It's not based on what you'd like to receive. Providing a range will give you more flexibility when you negotiate than if you give a fixed dollar amount. You never want to be out of range, either too high or too low. You can't negotiate without knowing the lowest amount you need to maintain your lifestyle. This is called your minimum. It's based on needs, budget, and personal lifestyle. If your minimum is $55,000 and an employer offers you $53,000 but allows you to work from home a portion of the time, it may offset that difference. Based on additional benefits, you can change your minimum depending on how your expenses are recalculated. If an employer insists on making you a low offer, an offer that you know to be below the going range for that type of job in that area, you may want to think twice about working for them. Ideally, the salary you negotiate will allow you to save money and/or meet career, financial, or personal goals. When you receive an offer, express excitement and interest in the job, but avoid accepting that offer immediately. Thank the employer and ask for a reasonable amount of time to consider the offer, 24 or 48 hours, and then stick to it. Be sure to factor holidays and weekends into your timeline. It's usually better to promise a response before a specific time and date. Most employers expect you to take time to consider, and this gives you a chance to review the offer in its entirety. When considering an offer, think about the entire package. It's easier to negotiate non-salary benefits. These could include health and retirement benefits, telecommuting, commuting costs, childcare benefits, tuition assistance, student loan repayment, or equity in a company. These will vary depending on your salary spectrum, career level, and the employer. Always politely request an offer in writing so that there can be no question about everything that is included in the package. Emotions can play a significant role in your decision. Calmly consider all aspects of an offer, then gracefully accept or decline the offer. Discussing salary in a new job. Traditionally, salary negotiating begins when an offer is made and you counter that offer. However, it is acceptable to begin the salary conversation during the first interview. In most cases, employers expect you to do so. Keep in mind, the first interview is not when they call to schedule a meeting. By asking the salary range up front, you're letting the hiring manager know you're interested in the position and that you have a salary figure in mind. It's better for everyone to know sooner rather than later if you're all in the same ballpark. But there are situations where an employer may not be able or willing to discuss salary so soon. If that's the case, then ask again in a follow-up interview. If they're still unwilling, you may want to reconsider working for that company. It is acceptable to ask about salary before an offer is made. By asking the salary range up front, you're letting the hiring manager know you're interested in the position and that you have a salary figure in mind. Begin by reiterating your interest in the position.
I'm very interested in the position. I'm wondering, are you at liberty to discuss the salary?
Or,
can you tell me the salary range for this position?
Be prepared to answer a question about your salary requirements if the employer initiates a salary discussion before making an offer. For example, you could say,
"Thank you for asking. Would you mind telling me the salary range for this position or similar positions within your organization? My requirements are negotiable, and I would like to consider those ranges before giving you an exact number."
This example puts the question back on the employer to give you a range. Based on the salary figures the employer mentions, you can counter with your expected salary range. Alternatively, you could use a more direct approach by saying,
"I want you to know I am very interested in the position, and I believe I have be a perfect fit for both the job and the company. I am looking to make between $55,000 and $65,000.
By using the more direct approach, you're giving your salary range while showing your interest and willingness to negotiate. You should keep in mind the employer will see your given range as your ceiling and could try to negotiate down. Remember to base your range on your research and never accept less than your minimum. If you're not pleased with an initial offer, you can ask,
"Is the salary negotiable? And if so, what's it based on? Is it based on years of experience, education, achievements, community service, or other criteria?
Or,
How do you determine what someone gets paid within that range?"
asking these questions allows you to understand how to position yourself when the salary negotiation takes place. For example, if an employer says the range is based on experience, have a document that outlines your credentials and be ready to discuss them. Sometimes the offer will be below your minimum. For example, you get the offer and you're very excited. You see that it's $65,000 and you know you need $70,000 to accept the position. One of the first things to do is ask to speak to the hiring manager or the person with whom you've interviewed. Here's an example of how you could frame the conversation.
I'm very excited to know you have selected me for the position, and I'm absolutely interested in joining your team. However, the salary is lower than I need in order to accept. Is there any potential for increasing that salary?
Here is a strategy to consider if the offer is slightly above your minimum but still not your ideal amount. The offer came in at $60,000. It's above your bare minimum of $55,000, but not at the $65,000 to $75,000 range your research showed is appropriate for the position. You're not considering walking away, but what you could say is,
"Thank you very much for the offer. I am very interested in the position. However, I was hoping the salary will fall within the $65,000 to $75,000 range and would really like to be able to speak to you about the potential of moving closer to $65,000.
Building on this scenario, if the employer comes back and offers only $60,000 again, you could say,
"Can we meet halfway at $62,500?
If they decline again, think about asking for additional vacation time or other benefits to compensate for the gap in salary. Preparation helps you to negotiate more effectively so that you're fairly compensated. At the start of your negotiations, you should establish your value to the company. This means showing a commitment to the future success of the company. This is the perfect time to get your personal elevator speech ready.
My resume shows a proven track record of improving client relationships. What it doesn't capture is my passion for customer satisfaction. For me, the customer always comes first. Sales skyrocketed wherever I've worked because a happy customer is a repeat customer. I'd like to show you that your investment in my unique skill set is an investment in the long-term growth and the future success of your company.
Your response should focus on the company's specific goals and vision, and this can only be done if you do the necessary research. You're telling them how your unique skills, qualifications, and experience will bring added value to the company if they hire or retain you. Asking for a raise is another form of negotiation. However, deciding when to ask for a raise is just as important as explaining why you've earned it. It's important to choose the right time to have this discussion. The traditional and appropriate time to ask for a raise is at your annual review, but 6 months is also appropriate if you can show specific results. The longer you perform extra work without advocating for yourself, the more it becomes a part of your day-to-day function. It may be hard for a manager to justify giving you a raise after you've taken on additional duties if you've never spoken up from the beginning or if management wasn't aware of your additional responsibilities. You should be able to explain your responsibilities and how they've changed from when you started receiving your current salary. Explain how these added duties justify the salary increase. Research what other people in similar positions are earning and make sure that what you're asking for isn't out of line. Before you negotiate, remember to practice. Practicing boosts your confidence and helps you stay calm and consistent during negotiations. Remember to bring notes with you in case you forget or get nervous. If possible, negotiate in person, but be prepared to do so over the phone. Never negotiate over text messaging. It is viewed as disrespectful and irresponsible and shows a disregard for the process. Always negotiate in good faith. This means only negotiate if you're seriously considering accepting the job. Let them know if you are no longer interested. It's considered unethical if an employer meets all of your terms and yet you still reject the offer. Present all of your requests, needs, or concerns all at once, along with the importance and priority of each. Otherwise, you risk frustrating the hiring manager and causing unnecessary delay with your multiple requests. Never give ultimatums or threats. It's far better to remain positive. For example,
I'm extremely excited to know that you've selected me, and I'm very interested in joining your team. Is there any room to discuss?
at this point, bring up any other part of the offer that you'd like to negotiate. Be patient. Delays are common during the negotiation phase. One way to avoid this is to clarify from the beginning what the timeline will be and whether you can do anything to help move things along. Be clear on the parts of the offer that you would like to negotiate. It shows you have considered all aspects of the offer, including what is important for you in your life and career. Always respond with your final decision before the agreed-upon deadline expires. Don't use arbitrary numbers. For example, if you need a certain amount to offset the cost of daycare, it may be easier for hiring managers to bump your salary if they know the reason why you're asking for a specific amount. Don't be timid. Learn to speak up while remaining professional and courteous. And don't demand. Ask. If an employer has gone through the process to get to this point, they're less likely to walk away over a small amount of money. It's always better to ask than demand, so be polite, professional, and respectful. The New York State Department of Labor offers a wide range of job search tools to help with your career development. To locate the nearest career center, visit us at labor.ny.gov/career-center-locator. To find the most current and accurate wage information, visit us at labor.ny.gov/stats/index.shtm.